Hey everybody, this is Perch, and this might be a bit of a different take, but please bear with me, okay? You might see where it's going right off. If you've been listening to this channel, you'll know where it's going, but it might not go exactly where you expect. So let me kind of wade into this. So a little bit of drama today against a writer called Frank Gogol. Now, who's Frank Gogol? He is a San Francisco-based writer. He wrote Dead End Kids, Grief, No Heroin, Dead End Kids, A Suburban Job. And just recently, just like in the last little bit of time, got a Power Rangers Universe Edge of Darkness story. And I think it's just, I should know this better, but I think this is just a one-shot, or I don't think it's a big job, but maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the Power Rangers is probably his biggest profile work, although he's won some awards, or was nominated, I should say, for some awards for some of his other work. So what in the world did he do? Well, another writer, Melissa White, she basically went on to Twitter to tell a story, and it's a relatively short story, but it was at the 2018 New York Comic-Con, BarCon. And this was, she mentions it's many of the negative experiences at BarCons, which at this point is like, yeah, duh. And nothing against her, but I mean, just like, what's funny is I was saying that a lot of these bar conventions and a lot of the after-hour drinking stuff and networking was prone to trouble. And there's a number of high-profile comic writers one in particular, who reached out to me to tell me to stop saying this, to stop making videos about this, because it made the industry look bad and it was over-dramatized. And about a year later, the stories start rolling out, in part because of Warren Ellis and other things. But now suddenly it's bad. The comedy of this, and comedy is not the right word, is that I'm 100% certain that when New York Comic-Con rolls around again, or Emerald City Comic-Con, that all the BarCon stuff's still going to happen. People are still going to do that. There's a lot of like, I think it's terrible. And then they will exactly go and form up little groups, and they'll go drink, and the same shit will go on, because the industry doesn't really learn. But I'm off track a little bit.
Morty, you gotta come on. You gotta come with me.
What, Rick? What's going on?
I got a surprise for you,
It's the middle
Morty.
of the night. What are you talking about?
Come on, I got a surprise for you. Come on, hurry up.
Melissa White writes that she went to this party, or this kind of BarCon thing, and this guy, Frank Gogol, starts getting drunk, and then making kind of loud, offensive comments, and then ultimately starts making some. It's hard to say. She has a racist comment, but it kind of goes on to he goes on to make a joke about how black people look, which, in the context of this, who knows what that joke looks like? But it kind of, with some other things that swirled around, it sounded like he threw out some racist terms. And then she talked about kind of thinking twice about, getting angry, because he was influential. And she makes this comment, which is really kind of the chilling comment. And the funny thing is, it's right. And again, what's the solution? But the comment was, comics is a 6 degrees industry, meaning, if she's going to go pitch work, is this guy suddenly going to get in the way? There is basically calling out, hey, there's kind of a whisper kind of thing that happens, that even if somebody is not kind of direct to your face, they can make trouble for you, and then you lose work, especially if you're new and coming in. And so anyway, on and on it goes. And she's got more to the story. Again, I want to stress, hey, maybe the drunk parties at Comic-Con are not a good idea, because a lot of the people involved do not know how to handle their liquor or their business, and they're introvert shut-ins that when they get in this kind of scenario, they have no self-control, and the industry, the publishers, have zero HR that looks over any of this, and they kind of wash their hands of the whole activity, and bad things happen, and maybe somebody should do something about that, but whatever. Anyway, so she posts this thing, and he's getting canceled, of course. Lots of people came in to support Melissa, saying, this is garbage, and this is terrible. And one of the comments here, again, is that my friend comes over and reminds me that he's a big deal. My career would be over if I made comments. I don't understand how he's a big deal, but he is connected. He's one of those people that seems to know others. And somebody else said, oh, he just gets racist when he's drunk. Okay. So where do you go to unpack all this? So I'm going to say this, which will sound contradictory, but it honestly isn't. Um, I don't believe that if somebody says some stupid things or somebody does something stupid. Now, granted, there are limits. I did that other video saying, if you're an artist in the comic industry and you kill your wife with a hammer, you should go to jail and you should be kicked out of the industry, right? I think most people could probably go along with that. But if you say stupid things, I don't think I'm not in favor of you do something dumb and then you're done in comics. I think dumb things happen all the time. And I think the industry is very quick to roll people out, especially now. And I think that's not right. Now, at the same time, I've been drunk plenty. I mean, if you show up to the Friday night streams, I drink my share during the live streams. There hasn't been an occurrence where I've thought, you know what, I'm going to say this racist thing at somebody. It just hasn't happened. I feel I sleep comfortably knowing that that moment hasn't occurred, because there hasn't been a point when I've been at a party or a bar con or drinking with some editors or doing any of that kind of stuff where in my head I think, it'd be really funny right now saying something racist. That doesn't enter my head. I think that there's a standard behavior for any job, whether it's tech or biotech or some other kind of tech with a prefix in front of it, comic tech. No, I'm sorry, I'm going silly now. But just whatever job you're in, there's some common sense that no, I don't think you make one mistake and it should ruin your life. I don't think so. But at the same time, I have to scratch my head like, what are you doing if you're at a party at a bar con in front of a bunch of other people, lots of people in the industry, and you make comments and you make them so regularly that people make excuses for you of like, that guy gets racist when he's drunk. Like, what is going on with you? Like, come on. I mean, it becomes very hard to defend you to say, no, hey, everybody makes mistakes. When you're making this stupid mistake over and over and over, at some point, it's actually less about whether you make mistakes or not, and more about why are you such an idiot? Because this is dumb, right? I know there's going to be some people in the comments who will say, well, this is her story versus his story. And sure, and granted, this is all alleged behavior. Who knows? Maybe it's not this way. Maybe that she made it all up. Maybe she's just, I mean, there are lot, sure, maybe so. But take this specific event away. This happens over and over and over where people say and do stupid things constantly. And you just like, how are you getting yourself in this situation over and over and over again? This doesn't happen to most people, including, I believe, some of the people, like right now, you might be ready to type in the comments defending Frank here. But have you done this? I'm guessing not. Most people don't, because this is stupid. Now, and to make it worse, he then posts, he has to address the situation. And he starts with this statement, which sounds like at this point it's going to the book of how to respond to somebody saying you did something stupid, and writes, first and foremost, I want to say that when women, people of color, LGBTQIA folks, and other marginalized people speak up, it is vital that we listen to and believe them. I'm grateful to see such a strong showing of support for someone who is coming forward with their story. And, he then responds and he talks about, he has a different account, okay? And he goes on with his side of the story. But here's the other thing, and this may, again, people may disagree. I hate this sentence that people now have been coded to always throughout. We must, when women, people of color, LGBTQIA folks, and other marginalized people speak up, it is vital that we listen to and believe them. I mean, here's something maybe more vital. When you're drunk at a bar con, don't call them racist names. Then you don't need to post on Twitter that we have to listen to marginalized people. Just don't do that. Don't be a dumbass in the first place. whenever somebody gets caught basically saying something stupid repeatedly, and again, in this case, apparently this is a trend, not a one time. Um, this first sentence just seems very hollow to me. We have to listen to marginalized people of color, LGBTQI. You know what? Don't. That statement means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. We don't have to listen to all it. But first of all, we should listen to anyone who's being mistreated. I mean, I what is the excuse in 2021 for throwing out a racist term in a party? Was your party some kind of Civil War reenactment, and you were, filming a scene for the Confederacy? Was that why? Were you doing karaoke and you threw up a Jay-Z song and you just read whatever's written on the teleprompter? Is that why? Like, what are you thinking, dummy? Is kind of what comes into my head. And I think that this entire back and forth, I mean, gee, who could have possibly imagined that at a BarCon where a bunch of creators are getting hammered, somebody would be a dumbass and then create an uncomfortable situation. Years later, somebody would bring it up. And now the person has to, bend over backwards saying, I listen to people of color. It's like, no, you clearly don't, because you put yourself in this situation in the first place. And it's a 100% bet that if nothing was said and New York City Comic Con 2022 rolls around and you're in BarCon, the same stuff's going to happen. So anyway, this stuff is tiresome. I also know there'll be some people in the comments say, why are we talking about this Twitter drama? It's not Twitter drama. This is a part of comics. And if you like comics and you want to read comics, and I go through the Bloodstone hunt with Joe, and that's really enjoyable. This is the kind of stuff that is going to chip away and kill off our comics, and I guess pave the way for manga to just take over, because the U.S. is just going to throw up their hands and give up with this kind of dumb stuff. I don't know. Again, and part of this, I admit, I bring up as kind of a I told you so to some of those creators who did, write me one guy many times about why this BarCon, why my comments on, hey, the bar scene at the Comic Cons is a freaking mess. And he kept writing me over and over saying, no, it's not. You're making it up. No, no, no. Buddy. Huh? Thanks for listening.
Delete! Delete!